Let us present the scientific approach to quantitative measurement and economic process research in corporate management, presented by Oliver Orlov, Yevheniya, Ryasnykh, Kathrin, Dumanska, Olena, Savchenko. The degree of dissatisfaction with the theory growing among practitioners, which doesn't equip us with tools for analysis and doesn't lend itself to empirical testing, as Bauman suggested. But we believe in perspective. Empirical research can bring theory in compliance with real life. So we will try through empirical research to consider specific problems we have recognized in practice and offer methods of solving those problems. You can see in this slide some goals we were going to follow in process of writing this article. We have made analysis of literature sources and found out that no other authors work with completely the same ideas. The problem of cost allocation in profit marginal formation processes is one of the basic problems of quantitative management and corporate management of multi-ashortment production, but at the same time it can be considered as the basis of profit margin formation methodology. It is necessary to emphasize that there is no generally accepted and overall method of the cost allocation with some degree of grounded justification for its effectiveness. Many scientists agree that fixed cost coverage is inadequate in most of cases, but anyway, most of companies use traditional techniques of cost allocation. In multi-ashortment production conditions, on the way of real calculations of profit, prime cost, cost effectiveness, and the formation and adjustment of prices, there is a very controversial problem of fixed cost distribution between types of products, because it's quite subjective, and depending on the distribution base, we can get several prime cost values. We can say that we can present a number of proofs that for the distribution of fixed costs, only managerial profit should be used as the distribution base. The first proof. Foreign economists suggest break-even calculations using the average waged marginal profit, which are based on the relative weight of each product in physical or value terms. These calculations, we can say that they are quite complicated, and this is really hard, almost impossible to produce them if the number of products exceeds 10. The result of those calculations completely coincide with the break-even calculations using the break-even ratio we can see in Formula 1, but there is no need to take into account the relative weight of each product because as the requirement for the and variability of the assortment structure is observed in calculations. The second proof. Alan Upchurch and many scientists after him in their calculations give break-even indicators for types of products, but do not bring those calculations to indicators of profit and cost effectiveness. So they do not practically calculate the fixed cost by product types, but we believe it's not really hard to find using the formula number 3 we can find from break-even point for product types. The third proof. The formula of break-even ratio indicator can be derived from the well-known formula of break-even turnover, widely used in economic literature. This is formula number 4. After some modifications, we transform into formula number 8 with some positive sides of the last formula that it can be used for calculating break-even turnover for individual types of products. But formula number 4 can be used just for a whole company. Also, we can calculate the margin of safety and products for individual product types. The fourth proof. Only with a distribution of fixed costs in proportion to the marginal profit using break-even ratio to the observance of the CVP system limitation is ensured. Other distribution bases distort the assortment structure. We can underline the concept of fixed cost distribution in proportion to the marginal profit has its own assumption. We can say that to check the realistic assumption in the distribution of fixed costs is possible. It is possible only by conducting empirical studies on example close to reality, which will ensure the reliability of the recommendations proposed on their basis. The result of calculations you can see in the table 1. And you can see that we have calculated break-even ratio, margin of safety, and profits per unit and for the volume of products. Due to the market conditions, the next modifications have occurred in the product range. As you can see, the product D was discontinued, and the variable cost for product C have decreased, and we have two different variants here. And our company decided to follow the second variant to keep the same cost effectiveness. That will lead to reduce the price and increase sales. We can calculate the price using the formula number 11 for product C and new product E, which was also decided to be included into into assortment of the company. The results of calculation you can see and you can compare in the table 1 and 2. After calculation of new prices, we calculated the marginal profit. We calculated the fixed costs, and you can see some difference here. Break-even ratio is 0.7, margin of safety is 0.3, and profit is 492. What conclusion can we draw from those examples? First of all, in the conditions of multi-assortment production, the cost of goods by type of problem, by type of product, is not a subject; it's an object of calculations. Secondly, those examples shows the role of marginal profit ratio. The certain level of comparative cost effectiveness. It can be included into formation process of price formation. And thirdly, in fact, using profit marginal ratio, we can form the comparative cost effectiveness by product types. Summarizing the research result, we can say that fixed cost distribution in proportion to the profit margin transforms the distribution system into the system of managing cost, prices, profits, and cost effectiveness by product types. Fixed cost and marginal profit are kind of black boxes you can use. You can collect information for in other decisions, and you can use in other calculations. Product with the same profit marginal ratio will be at the same cost effectiveness regardless their production volume. The proposed pricing formula can be used for so-called value pricing, and prices changes are advisable by product types in case of variable cost increase or decrease using the profit marginal ratio in order to ensure given cost effectiveness. Thank you for attention.